Welcome back, everyone. As usual, we are two dudes talking 80s. I'm John. That is the man, the myth, the legend. Yes, that's 80s Lou.
Hello, doing it with my
Uh,
left hand today.
I was waiting for that. So, I'm like standing there, I'm like, he's not doing it. Do I move on? What the heck? We're talking movies today because, we like, yes,
Yes.
we do. Anyway,
So nice.
it's props. I feel like Carrot Top or Gallagher right now. Bring in the props. But we're going to talk action movies because, in the 80s, they had a lot of action movies, guys with the, huge arms and training montages and nothing hurt them no matter how many bullets were shot at them. It was a good time. But we're going to talk about some of our favorites. So, Lou, why don't you just start us off? Let's go.
Excellent. So I'm going to approach this from a strategic standpoint, and I'm going to pick one that you would likely have on your list so that you don't knock it off my list. I'm going to go with one that actually doesn't have a lot of bulging muscles in it, but was a great 80s action flick, and that's Highlander. And
Not on my list.
not on your list. Wow, I thought that one might be. I thought that was a high contender. So yeah, Christopher Lambert, I believe, and Sean Connery, and awesome soundtrack by Queen. Just a great movie. Don't watch the second one because it'll ruin the first one and any memories that you have of the first one. But definitely great movie. I remember that one really fondly. And the premise of it, for those of you that are not familiar with it, is that Christopher Lambert's character is, what's that?
There can be only
There can be only one. Is that there is this handful of immortals that are walking the earth, and the ultimate prize is for only one to be alive so that they can gather all of the knowledge in the world by being the only one that's left. And the only one that only way that you can kill these immortals is, which is sort of an oxymoron, killing mortals, and there I go with my hands again, is to hack their heads off. So great time. Just check it out if you like action movies. And I loved it.
That was actually a good movie. I started watching it again the other day, and I think I fell asleep. Not because it's a bad movie, but because I was exhausted. And they even did did you ever see the TV series they did in regards to it?
I did, and that was actually decent. That wasn't bad.
I never saw it. Luckily, I never watched the second one, so it didn't ruin the first one for me. I had been thoroughly warned, and I think that's why I never checked out the TV series. So yeah, good call. This one might be on yours, but this character is one of my favorites. So much so that I dressed up like him for one Halloween, and nobody knew who the hell I was. Damn it! And that, of course, is Snake Plissken, and we're talking Escape from New York. John Carpenter did an excellent movie. I think it's a great action film. I love 80s Kurt Russell is amazing. Um, there are people that don't like this movie, and if you're watching this, Michael Piscatelli, you're wrong. And just a fantastic movie, great premise, kind of a very cool anti-hero thing, and yeah, I can watch it all day. Please, God, don't let them remake it. I've heard rumors, I've heard rumblings. Don't. It was bad enough that they did Escape from LA, and John Carpenter actually was talking about that and how much he liked Escape from LA. It's like, no, you're wrong. I'm sorry if anyone else likes it, but no, you're wrong too. I wish they would have just kept it Escape from New York. Fantastic movie, one of my absolute favorites.
That is a really good one. I enjoy that one as well. I'm not that big of a Kirk Russell fan as you are, but or as big of a Kurt Russell fan as you are. But I really did enjoy that movie. The whole premise of it, and the president's finger, and it's very cool. Very cool.
And the sad thing was nobody guessed the shirt from last time, so nobody wins an autographed '80s Lou shirt.
All right. Well, less carpal tunnel for me.
Yeah, and that's how you would sign it,
That's how I would sign it.
like the Declaration of Independence. What the hell is that? Seriously. All right, hit me with your next one.
All right, what do I have next here? All right, I'm gonna go
God,
with.
we're old. Look at. I thought you were gonna actually touch paper when you were looking at that.
Oh no, I'm all electronic here. I'm a high tech baby. So
Can't
I'm
say
going.
the same.
So I'm gonna go with one that oh God, what was the chick's name? The actress. Anyway, she was in Dirty Dancing, and I believe Patrick
Jennifer
Swayze.
Grey.
Yeah, Jennifer Grey, thank you. And Patrick Swayze was in this movie as well. I'm talking about Red Dawn, and I remember that having a very profound effect on me when I saw it, thinking, man, all these teenagers are out there and they're surviving in the wilderness with skills that their parents taught them, or how to hunt and drinking like deer's blood out of a mug, and is just it was something that just really affected me. And I haven't seen the movie in a while. I'm curious as to whether it would still stand up. But I remember really enjoying it back there. Back then, I thought it was really cool.
That's a good movie, Wolverines, and yeah, I remember watching it and thinking, oh my god, if that happened to me, I'd be dead so quick. Like, I have no skills, none whatsoever. But that was a really cool movie. I actually saw something they were talking about. Sadly, with what's going on with the Ukraine right now, they were saying that some kids were afraid of the draft coming back, and somebody posted, "Look, you guys can't shoot, you can't run, and you get offended by everything in participation trophies. You'd be dead. We don't want you." And that's honestly how I felt like when I was watching Red Dawn originally. It's like, man, never invade America because I couldn't handle that. I'd be the first one gone. I'd be the guy who would fall over the tripwire and blown up in like the first 2 seconds. So cool movie. This was kind of a hint about where I was going to go with this. Rocky 3. Usually in this day and age, any movie that's got a bunch of sequels, usually there's a declining quality. In my opinion, Rocky 3 was far and away the best Rocky movie. I love to see, Mr. T as an awesome bad guy, as Clever Lang. You saw Apollo Creed come back, to train Rocky and build that friendship, that bromance where they're running, slow motion and hugging it
On the
out.
beach.
Yeah, yeah. With half shirts galore, baby. Half shirts galore. I know you love that. And of course, I have the tiger.
Yes.
Probably, I don't care who you are. If I put you in a gym somewhere and I had a tiger comes on, it's going to improve your workout. Don't tell me otherwise. So, Rocky 3, one of my all-time favorites. My favorite of the Rocky movies. Though I got to say, Rocky 4, the redone version, the director's cut that I saw recently and talked about, creeping up there in that director's cut. And I got to tell this story because when I first moved to LA, I didn't realize you tend to run into stars all the time. You really do. You'll be there and you're like, hey, that's so and so. And anyway, so it must have been really early when we moved in, where I moved to Los Angeles, and my wife and I were eating at Lito's Pizza in Van Nuys. And fun little fact: that little shopping mall where Lito's Pizza is, they actually filmed Twilight Zone, the movie there. That was actually the bar that Vic Morrow was going to. So a little trivia there. But so I'm at Lito's Pizza, and this guy walks and he goes around me, and the guy behind him had his head down and didn't realize where he's walking. He almost walked right into me. And the dude looks up. It was Mr. T. And I
Wow.
was just so shocked. I didn't know what to say or anything. But the bad part was for me is he came up to my chin. And I just remember being blown away, like, oh my God, I'm bigger than Mr. T. Like, he seems so larger than life. You'd expect him to be like 6'10" or something like that. And I know he's not, but it was Mr. T. I thought he would be. And nothing was exchanged. No, I just was like, huh? Like, I wasn't expecting to run into Mr. T at Lito's Pizza, but so there you go. Rocky 3.
That's awesome. So you could kick Mr. T's ass. That's
I didn't
awesome.
say that. I said I'm taller than him, significantly taller than him. Never once did I say I could kick his ass, but yeah, I
That's really cool. I hadn't heard that story before.
could. Well, that's probably one of the few ones you haven't, so I'm glad I brought that one up. Or I
Excellent.
told you and you forgot about it, so we're old.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. All right, what's next on my list? All right. I will go with Full Metal Jacket. And
Wow.
that was one of those movies that again was really intense, really, really intense flick. It definitely had action scenes, but it had a lot of very psychological scenes in it as well. And yeah, again, that was another movie that that really affected me. Um, I'm trying to think of the one that oh my God, my brain is just not working today. There's another movie that they did. It was like Vietnam based that Charlie Sheen was in. It's a real popular one.
I can't help you on this one.
It was a really popular one, and that one was a lot more.
Charlie Sheen or Martin Sheen? Are you talking Apocalypse Now?
No, no, no. This was Charlie Sheen. He did one, and it was Vietnam based. It's again, it was hugely popular in the 80s. I cannot remember what the name of the damn movie is right now, but that one sort of tugged at your heartstrings in a different way. This one was just like super intense. It was just very, this poor guy's being put through hell trying to go through boot camp, and he breaks, and you just see him unravel, and it's just another good movie, just very intense.
You know what? To be honest, I haven't seen it. People will get mad, especially at my work, to find out that I've never seen it. I don't know what Matthew Modine's in it, right? Full
I believe so,
Metal.
yeah.
Yeah. So never saw it for whatever reason. I think because my father really liked war movies, and it wasn't anything against him, but it just seemed, I could deal with all the horror movies and everything else, but seeing, those battle scenes and these, the faces of, these young kids that were going off to war and not really knowing what they were fighting for, always disturbed me for whatever reason, and I avoided it. But shockingly enough, probably the only one that I really love is on my list, and I'll bring it up next since that is a nice segue. Thank you, Lewis. Heartbreak Ridge.
That's one that I don't think I've ever seen.
Oh my God, Clint Eastwood, Heartbreak Ridge. He's Gunnery Sergeant Thomas Highway, and he is one of those, last of a generation kind of people, and he's trying to fit in, with the new Marines, and he's not really doing it, and he goes to, the men under his command, they're really not receptive to him being there, and so they're getting pissed off, and he's, training them up to be, Marines and be ready to fight. And all they keep talking about during the movie, it's really funny, is wait till the Swede gets out of the brig. Yeah, Swede will take care of this guy, and and all this stuff. And okay, so finally you see the appearance early in the movie of this guy that they keep referring to as Swede, and this guy is like huge, all muscle, and he's shirtless. He's wearing like the tiniest pair of marine shorts you've ever seen in your life, and they start saying, "This is our man, Swede. Swede, say something nice, man." He goes, "I'm gonna rip off your head and shit down your neck," and they're like, "Swede, Swede, Swede." He throws a punch. Clint Eastwood puts him in a lock. Goes, "Put your chin up higher," and it, boom, and drops the dude. And he gets up and he's like, "Sir, I'll be waiting outside for the MPs." He's like, "Negative, Johansson, you're going to be a Marine." He goes, "Yes, sir." And it's a really cool movie. Lots of quotable lines, and Clint Eastwood is amazing in it.
I remember hearing about that, tearing your head off and shitting down your neck. I
I'm
remember
sure it was
that.
a very popular phrase in the 80s.
I
Yeah,
remember
they
that
weren't the
one.
only ones that did it, but they did it best.
Hey, it's all right. Well, add that one to my list of movies that I will want to watch, but probably never get to.
Exactly. Or you'll buy it and it'll remain in cellophane for like years and deteriorate and all that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the two.
All right.
All right. Next one that I've got here is yeah, I'm gonna go with everybody's I think familiar with this movie, Al Pacino, Scarface. Again, that's the standard staple movie, especially action flick, where Al Pacino is this rising mafioso sort of mobster kind of guy. It's making lots of money illegally and killing people, and good time for all.
Say hello, my little friend. I actually saw that at the Hillsdale cinemas. I saw that one in the theater, and I remember the scene where they get the chainsaw and the guy in the bathtub,
Oh,
and
that was
I was
intense.
like, oh man, they don't really show it, but it was probably worse because they don't show it,
Right.
and that was, obviously a very quotable movie. Honestly, I never, even though I saw it in the theater, I never wanted to see it again. I saw it, I
Hmm.
was like, yeah, it didn't really resonate with me, but not my thing.
Yeah, I actually bought that one, and that is one of the ones that's sitting in cellophane.
Yeah, good to know. Good to know. Well, I want to bring it back to Kurt because 80s Kurt is near and dear to my heart. They keep threatening to remake this too, and God, I hope they don't. And it's, of course, Big Trouble in Little China. Love, love, love this movie. Fantastic cast. Of course, it's got Kurt Russell. I think again, it's another John Carpenter, Kurt Russell collaboration. The thing I really love about this movie is it wasn't really popular back then, but if you watch it, his buddy is really the hero of the movie. Kurt Russell is like this bumbling fool, and things work out despite him, as opposed to him, making things better. And he always seems to screw things up, and his buddy always saves him. Um, I just love the movie, and they've talked about, remaking it with The Rock, and oh my God, please, please don't. I think Kurt Russell was perfect in that role. I don't think anybody's going to do it better. And please don't remake it. And Big Trouble in Little China, can't say enough good things about it.
Very cool. That's been one of those ones that I've sat through parts of it. I don't think I've actually ever sat through it all the way. So,
You're killing me, Smalls.
sorry, man. There's certain things about it, and I can't even place my finger on it that annoy me about the movie. Yeah,
Some of the special effects definitely lack. I get that. Some of it's a little hard to take, but it's just such a great cast, and there's so many phenomenal Asian actors that are in it. And it was really nice to see that representation back then because you didn't see that. But yeah, it's still Kurt, and love it.
the actor that played I think it was the Asian evil guy. He just like turned 80 something. He's like,
James Hong.
yes, yes, yes. I
Yeah,
just saw that like a couple of days ago that he turned, and I was thinking about, yeah.
yeah, Lo Pan. He actually, it's funny because he was also a character in a great movie called, oh God, now I'm drawing a blank. Balls of Fury, a ping pong movie, and great comedy. And Jake actually has a ping pong paddle. Jake loved Balls of Fury, my son, and he has a ping pong racket that's signed by James Hong.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Al Leong, who's one of the bad guys in there, was in tons of movies. He was in. Well, I'm not gonna say that movie and give you an idea, but he also was in Brandon Lee's Rapid Fire. He's been in so many movies as the bad guy, and I've seen him and talked to him a couple times, and through Dragon Fest, this martial arts convention that's usually done every year in Southern California when there's not a pandemic. And yeah, great movie, great cast. I
Awesome, man.
still have I think one of the actors, Peter Kwan, signed his figurine for me, the Funko figurine from that movie. He was one of the three storms, so I still have that.
Nice.
And of course, the guy still looks like, I'm like, you look younger than me. How the hell does that happen? There's something to be said for those Asian genes.
Awesome, man. Let me see. So I think this might be my last one. It is. I saw this one in the theater the first time. I want to say that you were with me. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it, and Richard Dawson was actually also in it from Family Feud. And the premise of the movie is, yes, absolutely, Running Man. The
That's
premise
as
of the
much as I
movie,
run these days, by the way.
premise of the movie is that Arnold Schwarzenegger is this criminal that or I can't remember if he was like falsely charged or whatever, but you get to go onto this game show that Richard Dawson is hosting, and they have you go through this sort of, I don't know, it's almost like a maze type of thing where you've got these predetermined sort of hero guys that are out to kill you. And if you make it all the way through the maze without getting killed, you get your freedom. You don't have to go back to jail. And if you get killed, well, you obviously get killed. Again, one of those definitely different movies. I really loved it. I love the fact that Richard Dawson was in it. And I don't know why, but I just thought that was super cool. And yeah, another one that's pretty cool and definitely action packed.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger had a lot of those hits in the 80s. I mean, he kind of ruled the 80s, and I think he was the one really responsible for the appearance of a lot of the 80s action heroes. And, I think Stallone, if you look at Stallone from Rocky to Rocky 3, his physical appearance changed significantly. And I think that was inspired by him trying to keep up with Stallone in the action hero game. So, a good call on that one. I probably would have gone with Schwarzenegger has so many good ones. I think I probably would have gone with the different one. I probably would have leaned towards Commando, to be honest, but good call on that one. I'm gonna finish it out, and this sucks because I still have a bunch, and I all deserve mentioning. But I'm gonna go with probably the unlikeliest hero of the time, and his name is John McClane, played by none other than Bruce Willis. He decides to go to a party on Christmas Eve, Nakatomi Plaza, and of course, I'm talking about Die Hard.
Yippee
Um,
okay, motherfucker.
yeah, I thought it was just a fantastic movie, and obviously most people did. What's crazy about it is I watched a documentary about it recently, and they were talking about people were laughing when they saw the previews originally of Die Hard, and they saw Bruce Willis, and they're like, because he was only known for moonlighting back then, and they're like, this is our action hero, and so it got so bad that initially they weren't even putting Bruce Willis on the movie posters
Oh wow.
in an effort to try and get people to go. And obviously the movie overcame all the shortcomings. I really liked it because it was getting to the point where it was ludicrous. How much bigger could these guys be? They never get hurt and everything. And I think Bruce Willis did a fantastic job of playing some John McClane and somebody that was vulnerable and actually did get hurt, and you didn't see him, winning every fight, and he was getting more and more beat up as it went along. Um, Interesting fact: do you know who originally got offered that part?
No.
You'd never in a million years guess. Frank Sinatra.
What?
So I guess Die Hard is based upon a series of books, and Frank Sinatra had portrayed that character in another movie, and they were contractually obligated to offer it to him if they did any more movies. And luckily for us, he says, "Yeah, I'm too old for that stuff." And so he declined the role, and it went to Bruce Willis, and
Wow.
he became John McClane. And let's face it, that movie kind of changed action movies because everything else kind of after that was kind of described as Die Hard on a bus, Die Hard, and on a ship, Die Hard on this, Die Hard on that. And I think they're up to Die Hard number 326 now. And I kind of lost it. That's I've seen a lot of the Die Hard movies, but that one was far and away the best, and nothing's touched that in the series. So nothing even came close.
What a different movie that would have been if Sinatra had actually played it, man. I'm curious if it would have anywhere near the level of success that it did with Bruce Willis.
Well, I mean, if you didn't buy Bruce Willis as an action hero, and I could understand that, like I said, only coming from Moonlighting, you were going to buy Frank Sinatra. But again, they had to offer it to him. He turned it down. They didn't want to, but they had no choice. And once he turned it down, they could move forward with it. So I'm
Crazy.
noticing nothing on the drums today. What's going on?
No, I couldn't find something to easily dig out to put on the drum set, but I'll have to dig out something next time.
All right. Well, one of the things, sadly, this past week is we lost somebody that I remember seeing in the '80s and I loved, and I actually saw him perform many times. The amazing Jonathan passed away, and I remember seeing, him on some of the specials in the '80s and everything, and I always wanted to see him. And another thing, when I moved out here, he was performing at the Key Club, which is no longer in existence, kind of near the Whiskey A Go Go and the Roxy. And I told Nancy, I said, I've always wanted to see this guy, let's go. And so we went and saw the amazing Jonathan at the Key Club, and I will never forget that night. I don't think I've ever laughed harder. I was dying. And we went and saw him a few times in Vegas. I was able to meet him several times. I still have an autographed shirt of his and an autographed DVD that he signed for me, pictures with him. And then he was I forgot what the diagnosis was, but he wasn't supposed to live very long, and he lived much longer than expected. And they did a documentary on him called Always Amazing, and they actually were showing it out in Los Angeles. I went, met the director, Steve Byrne, really cool guy, and I met the amazing Jonathan, well, I saw him again and took a photo with him, and I was able to tell him how much that night at the Key Club meant to me, and how it was probably one of the nights I laughed harder than anything. And really cool guy, big loss, and yeah, so raise your glass, and we don't have a glass tonight.
I know, man. It just
The
feels
amazing
weird.
Jonathan. If you're drinking along and watching this, he was iconic. There you go. There's your one. Hey Lou, we talk a lot about '80s and our love for the '80s. Let's next time. I think we need to talk about hatred.
Hatred. Tell me more.
Hatred is a strong emotion. Well, I will tell you more. Thank you for asking. So our next episode, we are going to talk about '80s songs that we hate. Okay, we hated them then, we hate them now. A lot of hatred. So get your thought process going. Get your notes. You can do it old school, or you can do it electronically like you do. And that's going to be our next episode, brother. Look forward to it.
Awesome, man. I've already got some floating in my head.
All right. Well, take us out, brother.
Peace out.
Thank you, guys.